Hello, ladies and gentlemen of YouTube, and tonight I am doing Scream Season 1, Episode 2 review. Now, where they had opened up, the video, as we had learned from Noah, the video is taken down due to content. But unfortunately, they also show that there was a lot of people in the comments section leaving hate messaging towards both of them. So, after that, they show Rachel, who's Audrey's friend from the video. Well, unfortunately, we learned that looks like I was right. She was depressed. They show she had a lot of cut marks on her arm. And as they open up, she opens this like little pink box or a glass little jar with some blades, and we see that she cut. And then right after that, she gets a call, and it sounds like it's gonna be Audrey, which it could be, but I wonder if it's a voice modulator or if somehow the actual killer did some voice recording and editing to make it sound like it was Audrey. But whoever it was really messing with Rachel. It sounded like there was something in the closet and nothing was there. Then she goes outside, and whoever the killer was that was there had set up a rope, like a noose thing, and ends up getting it on her and pushes her over the top, and so Rachel dies, unfortunately, which really hurt me in the beginning because I felt she didn't deserve that. Personally, from my angle, she didn't deserve that at all. And I felt that was a really messed up thing to do with that. But I will admit, for an opener, I liked it a little bit better than I liked episode 1. Because even though there was no character build for Rachel, really, other than the fact that she was in the video that was uploaded from Nina Patterson, it got me. It really got in my feelings, and, I felt bad. And this goes into the story writing, like I was saying. I think, even though it's different from how the films were, it's not really just following one person in particular. Like, it kind of is with Emma. Like, Emma's the new Sidney Prescott, but it's different. And then right after that, they introduce a new character in the sense of a podcaster who would be the show's kind of like Gale Weathers and Piper Shaw. And they're still trying to look for Tyler O'Neill, who was Nina's best friend, boyfriend, they say in this. So Brooke comes up and is trying to talk to Emma, and Emma's pissed off with the whole Will thing and is just ignoring Brooke for a little bit. And Riley comes up and is talking with Riley, and Brooke then is trying to apologize, and we learned something about Nina. Apparently, Nina was very threatening towards people. So, with that, maybe some of these people aren't as bad as I thought they were, like Emma, Brooke, well, Riley. I never really felt was connected with them in that sense. But that's just my opinion. I could be wrong. Well, Brooke could be the killer for all I know. But I'm going and looking at this, and I don't think she is. Something just doesn't scream killer with her. Anyway, so then Emma's talking to them and seeing if they got any weird call, because as we saw in the last episode, Killer called her and was saying like, "Oh, you pretend to have perfect lives and all that." And right now, they all think it was either Jake. Like, they think it was Jake who possibly called them, or called Emma, I mean, and had said that. So then we see that Noah's getting interviewed by Sheriff Hudson. And we learn that Noah did some, like, nature versus nurture type thing in school for Brandon James and had contact with his brother Troy James, but he never was able to find out who Daisy was, even though he had tried and none of his theories had panned out. So then Sheriff is asking him, "Well, have you ever reached out to Kevin Duvall?" And Noah's just like, "No, survivor stalking is extremely rude, and plus Emma's in my class," and goes into the little thing there. And Sheriff also said it's also because he's not dead. And I was like, yeah, and that. So he goes, Kieran walks in, and Noah's just like, "Hey, thanks for saving my life from the dock incident." Excuse me. So then, with that, he just walks out, and Kieran said no big deal. And Sheriff gives Kieran the house key and asks who were the jacks that had done that to him. And Kieran's like, "Oh, I'm your son, Sheriff, not your 21 Jump Street snitch." Which leads me to have some of my own questions in that, personally. But that's just me, personally, thinking about it. Is it possible he could be the... It's possible, but I don't think Kieran is. So, then we cut back to the school, and apparently Will picked up Jake to take him to school because Jake got drunk the night before and couldn't drive his truck, so he left it at the school. And they're trying to defend, like, Jake's trying to help Will defend himself with the whole Nina thing and saying, "Oh, these women don't know how Nina was like a sexual predator and all that." Just something doesn't seem right there with those guys, in my opinion. So then we see someone had ended up messing up Jake's truck in a way. There's a trail of blood or paint. Spoiler, it's paint. And on the side of the truck, written in red paint, it's misspelled, but it says douche. Which I thought was a little funny, kind of got a little of his own comeuppance, so to speak, with being a douche to some people. And I do like that aspect from it. And I do credit them on that for the writing. So the school has like this little set up for Nina's passing, and people had written things for her and all of that. And we see Piper Shaw from the Autopsy of a Crime podcast there, and is asking people about Nina and Audrey. And I do apologize for my language ahead of time. I try to keep it as PG as possible, but she asks, so Piper asks, and Audrey answers with, "She was a stone cold bitch who got what she deserved." And Piper said, "Can I quote you on that?" And Noah's just like, "No." She's just saying words. And she then wants to ask Noah, and then out of nowhere, well, not out of nowhere, but then Jake comes up and accuses Noah of it, and and makes it look like he's the killer because he pretty much threatens Noah that if he finds out it was him, even though Noah swears it wasn't, he's dead. So it's possible Jake's the killer, possibly, but I'm not sure. I'm really not sure. I don't see Jake being able to do it alone, if that's the case. But it seems most of the school wants to blame Tyler and thinks it was Tyler O'Neill that was doing it, or that did the first kill. No one knows about Rachel's death yet, except us. And now, in school, now Will's trying to explain himself to Emma, and the way it comes across is like he's blaming Emma for him sleeping with Nina, and it didn't end well. And then Kieran comes in and tries to get him away from Emma. It's interesting. Very interesting. And then Will, just his look when he said, "Stay out of this, Abercrombie," which I'm not 100% sure on where that reference is. I'm going to look that up later. But we are learning that Emma's is really debating about things with Kieran and Will. She says, "I usually don't kiss guys in a greenhouse," which is from the thing last night. And then Audrey comes in and just gave Emma, like, I swear, if looks could kill, Emma would be dead. And then Emma comes up and wants to talk, and Audrey's like, "What's there to say? You and Nina filmed me and Rachel. Nina posted online. You feel guilty," and that was the end. And she's like, and there we talk. And then Emma's like, "I should have been honest and all that." But I don't like how Emma said soon there'll be a new headline. That I didn't like. I understand you're trying to set things up for a red herring and all of that. But that was odd. So then, the killer had sent pretty much everybody in the school a gift saying payback's a bitch. So someone filmed the killing of Nina Patterson. Now, who it could have been, I don't know. But then the mayor of Lakewood thinks that someone leaked the security footage, but even the sheriff knew someone had to have filmed it, and they're trying to chase him. But personally, they're talking about the whole Brandon James thing, and the sheriff apparently wasn't even in Lakewood at that point during the whole Brandon James debacle in 1994. And the sheriff stands by saying that he was confident that Tyler O'Neill was the killer, but it's iffy. We don't know for sure yet because Tyler isn't found. But we know on the side of this fourth wall, unless it was a dummy head, like from episode 1, we know Tyler can't be the killer because when Nina was in the hot tub, thought she was texting Tyler, and the head pops up. He was already on the chopping block. He was the first chopped, so to speak, literally. So personally, I like the storyline so far. And I like how they're setting up Noah as a social, outcast after the whole gift thing. goes to Riley, sees if she's okay, and they're talking about midterms, and he finished his midterms paper, which he did on stargazing, but instead of like your typical stargazing, it was an app. So instead of, going out and looking up at the stars outside, he's so awkward, never had a date, and still is a virgin, and he's looking at like the stargazing app. So she's like, well, you should actually go outside and lay down in the grass, look up at the stars. Try it sometime, So I like how they're setting up their little relationship here. Unfortunately, I have a bad feeling about that. Knowing horror in general, usually when you set up a couple like this, it usually doesn't end well for one or both of them. And somehow I don't see Noah, because he's like kind of that Jamie Kennedy's character, Jamie in the show. Movie. But, so we cut to the actual class now, where they're in the classroom with Branson, and they're talking about how we should just have this because we're on the top. We have like 7 of the top 10 trending going. And Noah is talking about the killer's desire, about modern time. How killing is the only game. And imagine if you were the killer person. You skulk around, you scare her, you kill her. But where's the fun in that? You just take a victory lap around the pool and stand there and watch the blood spill through the whole pool. But if he's not the only one watching, to him, in the killer's mind, he or she, it might not be a good thing, and we have to share what had happened or it never did happen. And now Riley got a text. Now everyone's finding out that Rachel died. But whoever the killer was made it look like she hung herself instead of just keeping her on the hanging from the balcony. He or she moved her to a ceiling fan to really throw off the corner. It's like whoever the killer is wanted to leave a message to the one who we know is Daisy, Emma's mother. And with that, you have to wonder, is it possible that he's just doing this to get back at him, he or she is getting back at Daisy? It's an extreme possibility. I'm not sure I totally buy into that fully. But it really hurts, and I can feel Audrey's pain. In a sense, losing a loved one. Even if they're not family in that sense, but like someone you're seeing and in a relationship with, losing them to dying. I lost someone I cared about, not in the same form, but I could relate to that in that aspect of losing a loved one at a young age. And I wonder if the killer was also trying to use hanging as a cope out and keep things under wrap due to the fact she did cut and all that and was suicidal. So then it's like that killing isn't connected with everything else, with the whole Nina and, as we know, Tyler. So you wonder if it's trying to throw the cops off guard. Maybe not just necessarily Daisy, but maybe just throw the cops off his trail. Because this way he ain't going to do that. But then you have the bathroom scene where Emma walks away from that room because she's feeling guilty and walks in and it's like, well, it looks like we have a new Nina on our hands from the video being leaked and Rachel being dead. So they are setting it up for interesting. It could be a revenge angle, but then it can't be. If you're doing a revenge angle, which is possible, still, there could be separate killers in this situation. But if you're going to revenge her, why show Rachel dying? Because Audrey would have no reason to kill Rachel at that point. because she loved him. So it can't really be a revenge angle. Unless, say, someone is killing at the same time and it's two separate killers. Like, say, Audrey wants revenge, so she's going out. She killed Nina and Tyler. But then, say, after Nina's death, someone found out she's doing it, or in general just heard about that death and thought, okay, well, maybe I can get away with murder now because now there's a possible distraction. Maybe I should go out and do this. But anyway, so a little bit later, then Emma's at work and she goes out to the dumpster to throw a bunch of garbage out. Well, she sees, I don't want to say he's homeless because that might be inaccurate, but just a random guy sitting outside. And then when the door closes, because she's on the outside, she goes looking. He's now gone, and then all of a sudden, behind the other dumpster, here comes what could be the killer stalking her. So she's running with a plank of wood she grabbed from the side, and then Will came up from behind, was like, "Em," and she swung. Thank God Will ducked and just smashed the corner of the building with it. And Emma's just being confused because apparently someone sent Will a text saying that you texted me, but she's swearing someone was pretending to be her, and he thought it was Brooke trying to be matchmaker, but Emma's like, no, she still thinks you should be on the, break bench, whatever you want to call it. And Will's sitting here being the whole time like, oh, I'm sorry, I'd never apologize, I was trying to make excuses and explain. And in a way, Emma kind of just forgives him, kind of. Which is confusing, but seeing as 1 minute I know high schoolers are weird in that sense, but it's like, really? Not even 2 minutes ago you hated this guy. Now you're gonna go to the basketball game with him? And watch him play basketball and, give him a second chance? I mean, hey, who am I to judge? I did some stupid things in high school that led to problems today. Can't sit there and lie, but there's a lot of questions I have with that. So, Daisy is doing his coroner, and she's examining the body. Emma comes up and gives her some coffee. And even her mother says, normally I don't mind you coming to work, but this one was disturbing. And she learned she had issues with depression. And then like Rachel's mother had mentioned the whole video that went viral. And Emma's crying to her mother saying, the person who filmed them, it was me. But really, I don't think it was her that filmed. I really personally think it was Nina. I really think it was Nina personally. I get she's feeling guilty with everything, and Nina can't really be blamed for it. And then, what really hurt me most with this episode in a good way, because I like the emotion you feel with it, is Audrey was sitting in a library and watching just videos and looking at pictures of Rachel. And it hurt. Because, no one... Even if the killer didn't do it, and say that blade was her last time, being alive. It would hurt. And it's really good storytelling, and the emotion was there, and I give them a lot of credit for that, and the acting with that when you're looking at the video, not to actually show some emotion, because you're gonna feel it. And unfortunately, Emma's mother now finished, and she's seeing things might not have things don't add up with the video. I mean, not the video, with the injury, because the snapping of the neck just didn't make any sense from where they had found her. And the sheriff, it's like, you could tell me, and now things look like they're going to be even more complicated. So now at the basketball, and we have some stupid jerks from the other high school talking about how this is Murderville, which I think was done in very poor taste after the two murders. Hey, that's something I wouldn't go and bring a sign to saying, go beat Murderville. After everything that just happened, that was really messed up. So Will thinks he won Emma and is all happy because she's there at the basketball game. So the mayor takes a sign from the people and rips it up. And then Seth Branson, who canceled their so-called on-call study sessions, is there, goes to the thing, and then Brooke goes after him, and we cut out for a minute and see Audrey and Noah. Audrey's going to film highlights from the game, and Noah is trying to get a date with Riley, but Riley hasn't replied yet. And then when he's talking with Audrey about, I can stay, help you with the battery and that, Riley texts her and goes on a date. So he goes outside, she goes to the basketball thing. One thing with the mayor, he asks if we could have a moment of silence for Nina Patterson and Rachel Murray, who had just passed. And you can tell Audrey is really heavily in thought at that point. So while that's going on, Noah goes out to the football field and is looking for Riley. And seems to be no sign of Riley. And he's kind of like, I'm here, and then he's getting a bad feeling with the murders and everything happened. And then some of the lights in the football field go off. And then from behind, she kind of covers his eyes, And he's like, oh, God, you're a ninja. And then she's like, oh, that's racist. And, he didn't mean it in the racist way, And she laughs. So, I think it's kind of cool that they were setting up a relationship like this. But all these little jump scares are a little annoying at times, especially in this case. Especially in this case. So, game's going on, but that's not the main focus right now. So they cut back to the food concession stand where Brooke is, and then Branson comes up, and she's kind of doing some weird flirting with him, and it's kind of odd, even now to me. I mean, okay, I'm sure this could be stuff happening in high school and all that with these things, but I don't know, it's a little odd just seeing a student-teacher relationship drawn to 11 in that sense. It's odd. It is what it is, but I don't know, it just unsettles me. So Kieran comes up, and even he felt like, okay, so what? Did he say something, kind of say something that pulled at your heartstrings, after the incident at the coffee shop where she worked, and I don't know. Everything's odd, and I know they're setting up red herrings here and there, but at the same time, thinking about, I'm questioning: is it possible that Kieran's the killer? He reminds me a lot of the Billy Loomis character from the movie, and I don't like comparing the show to the movie. But I wonder, he has that Billy Loomis tendency. But that doesn't mean he's the killer. And Noah brought up an interesting point when they cut back. Romance is shoehorned into horror. And he's talking about the whole Terminator film. Why would be sleeping with someone when, like, the Terminator's after you? And it's like, he brings up a valid point. Why would you be sleeping with people when the killer is coming for you? And she brings up The Walking Dead, that they're not rushing the romance. But it's all like, do we really want to see the Hick and the housewife get together? And I'm sure people do. I'm not saying that you can't. Personally, I don't. I tune in for sheer entertainment. But it is what it is. So we learned Riley made her drink, and it was always shaken, never stirred. And then she asked him if he's a virgin, and Noah was kind of going off the line, like, "Am I a virgin? Oh no, I'm just a regular man." He's saying this, and they start end up kissing, making out, and I'll give it to them. This episode was really interesting. I will give it to them. I enjoyed it a lot. I give them a lot on that. And then we tune back to the game with like 7 seconds left. Will has the ball and makes the final, the game-winning shot to win 47-46. Okay, not bad, I guess. If that's your cup of tea. I could care less about the basketball game. So Will comes over, sees Emma, and is like, "Yeah, everyone's here." And like, "Oh, you played a good game." And he's like, "What's up with that guy?" He can't even say Kieran's name. He's just like, "That guy." And he's like, and she's just like, "I don't want to have a fight." And they kiss, and I don't know. I don't know how to feel on that personally. Um, that part is what it is. It's not going to affect my enjoyment of it. So she tells Will good night. Let's go. So far, I'd say the acting has been really tremendously good uh, with each of them. So Emma's still trying to give like her condolences to Audrey, and Audrey really doesn't want to hear it. She's kind of annoyed. You can't blame her with the whole video being released, and like Emma coming to you and saying it's my fault and this, that, and the other, and but while talking, she it sounded like she was gonna say that she was gonna tell Audrey that she was kind of suicidal, but Audrey's starting to see maybe Emma isn't as bad as she had said, but still doesn't trust her, and I like that. So we cut to Emma's house, where Emma's just like sitting on the couch, but kind of laying down in a way, looking at her phone, when the house alarm goes off. Like did somebody break into the house? So her phone rings, and it's whatever security company, JB Security, but she sees the back door is open, so she goes, closes it, and locks the door, and just looks at the window. So when she answers the call, the guy's on the other line, um, he's just asking for like your name, code word, and all of that. And the way the person on the other line is talking, it just sounded odd at first, even for me. It sounded like it was someone else. So she's going around and then grabs a baseball bat, she wants to stay on the line. And then when she closes the window after all of this, because she said, because the guy said, yeah, you look worried or tired or whatever the circumstance was. She closes the window and locks it, and that's when we learned that it wasn't the guy from the security place that called. It was the possible killer, and was going off, and was like, now did you just lock me in or out? No, it was a very interesting ending to this all. It was really a good ending. But personally, I give credit where credit's due. The acting so far has been good through 2 episodes. I've definitely enjoyed the story that they're telling. Some things are a little odd with it, but I like that because you're trying to figure out who is the killer. And I do give them a lot of credit there. And, you know, I think I think it's getting better over time. I mean, the first episodes you have to introduce your characters. You have to try to make you care about them. And I think it's definitely great to see this go out how it's going so far, because they're not going the route of the movie. They tried something new, which I like. And I like the story, and I like the mask. I know it's not your typical ghost face mask, and that tuned a lot of people off from it. But it feels interesting, like I've said before, to have a different mask. This time the original alleged killer, had a purpose to have a mask. He didn't just put on a mask out of nowhere. This time he needed it from all the facial surgeries and that. He didn't just go buy a mask or go rob a mask from someone. And that, I think, is what I like most, is instead of your typical slasher movie, it went into detail why the mask is necessary in this situation. It's not just put together. And after this episode, I feel really bad for Audrey if they're not doing the revenge route at all. She lost Rachel, and it was for nothing. And it sucks. And I can feel her pain. And in that way, it really is kind of sad. But, I give it to him, and that's an A in my book. But, I say A plus. This episode, I'd give a solid 8.5 out of 10 stars. I would highly recommend, if you ever chance, tune into Netflix and watch the series. Or if you want to see the original Ghostface mask on July 8th at 91, they're doing season 3, which is Scream Resurrection, for 6 episodes with the original Ghostface mask. Definitely looks interesting. Uh, I'll be doing that when I get there. But you know, happy 4th of July to everybody that lives in America. Happy day wherever you may be. It doesn't have to just be 4th of July. And I hope you wonderful people have a nice day. Uh, and I just want to thank Slacker E2 for his comment. And I agree. The Scream movies were wonderful. The only thing I didn't like with the TV show was it was originally going to be reoccurring, and then we had the problems. And I'm sorry to go off on this. It wasn't just they lied saying they were. I say they lied. Maybe they have people that are incompetent of writing stories they hired for season 3 or that, but they said they wrote themselves into a corner. There was nothing they could do. Then they fired the original cast and they renewed for season 3. Then you had the Harvey Weinstein problem. Then they just sold the company. Then they had to refilm scenes because they brought in other actors. And, it really lost a lot of its momentum. So I don't know how many people are even interested in it anymore with all the delays and problems that came from everything. But I can't explain for other people. I just know after 3 long years, for them to finally come out with something Scream related. Because I thought after Wes Craven's death, okay, well, it's just going to be in purgatory. We're never going to get it. It's just always going to be talks. Just to have gotten something is good. And who knows? Maybe with the new season coming out, it'll lead to a movie. It's possible. But if you're going to lead into a movie, I hate to say this, and this is me coming from Scream 4, because I've seen them all, but, get Sidney Prescott off and go where it looked like Wes Craven wanted to go. Get the one who played Kirby in Scream 4, because she rolled over. So, and usually in horror movies, when you roll over after being stabbed in that, even with the blood float, you're normally going to survive. Just ask Dewey from Scream 1. If the character is liked enough by fans, and that's where they wanted to go, you better incorporate her at the ending of the show, and maybe that was a copycat killer, and maybe she comes in and saves the day or something. That's just me. Everybody's gonna have their different views on it with that. But enough talking about that. I had a great time watching this episode. I can't wait to do the next one. I might do it later today, depending on how everything is with the holiday. So take care, everybody. Happy 4th again. Happy day wherever you may be. Happy sleep good if it's nighttime where you're at. And remember, do all things positivity. Take care. Peace.